Flameo Hotman, here are 5 things that Netflix needs to get right in their live action Avatar The Last Airbender series if it's got any chance of being good. Now to be honest, I could just say avoid everything in The Last Airbender movie, but most fans pretend that movie doesn't exist, plus I want to pick out 5 specific things. Don't forget to let me know what you think Netflix needs to get right with Avatar The Last Airbender in the comments down below, and hit that subscribe button while you're down there. So not in any particular order, the first really important thing for Avatar The Last Airbender on Netflix that they need to perfect is the tone. Netflix has already said they want to pick up on the mature themes, but they also don't want to deviate from the original animation too much. And I'm not against using those mature themes. In fact, Avatar is one of the few young animations that has a lot of mature storylines that really could work in a live action series. But they need to make sure they don't lose the light-hearted fun moment that makes Avatar The Last Airbender what it is. Don't forget, the main characters are essentially kids, and the animation was really good at showing them acting like kids but also having mature themes, and the live action series really needs to get that spot on. But if they find the balance in the tone, that could really set the scene to make this Avatar The Last Airbender series good. Moving on to the second thing Netflix needs to get right is giving the right characters enough screen time. Bumi and Suki are really important to the story, as are the past avatars like Roku and Kyoshi. All of these characters have been cast in Netflix Avatar The Last Airbender, but obviously the Last Airbender movie didn't even include these characters despite them being super important. So it's good news that Netflix has cast them, but they need to make sure they get the right amount of screen time. For example, in the trip to Kyoshi Island, Sokka and Suki need to get the right amount of time together because it's really important for later seasons. Plus, Bumi's guidance is really important to Aang. I'm not saying they need to copy the animation exactly in terms of how Bumi and Aang interact, but their interactions are important, so Netflix needs to find the right balance to get these characters included. Moving on to the third thing, and this is controlling the voiceover. The Last Airbender movie had a ridiculous amount of voiceover, and instead of letting things play out and letting the story develop, they just had Katara voicing over all the important stuff. I expect there's a valid reason in that they had to fit it all into 1 hour and 40 minutes, but the Netflix series has a lot more time than that, so they need to make sure they're not just filling all the gaps with voiceover, and they're letting the story develop and letting the characters develop. The fourth thing that Netflix need to get right is the bending. Obviously, bending is a fundamental part of Avatar The Last Airbender, and it's not just about getting the effects right, because actually I'm kind of hopeful about the effects, given they're using Pixarmondo's world-class studio. It's more about the movement and the motions for the bending. The animation was actually really good at bringing the bending to life. It showed you the flow and the rhythm that makes bending what it is. And I hate to keep referring to the movie in this video, but one of the worst things about The Last Airbender movie was that the bending just didn't seem right. Remember that scene where the Earthbender spent about 5 minutes dancing just to lift a tiny rock? It was laughable, and Netflix really needs to make sure they get this spot on. The final thing for the video is that Netflix need to find the right balance between respecting the source material and finding new takes on the story to make the series interesting and exciting without feeling wrong to watch. They also need to be careful not to cram too much into the story. The Netflix live action of Avatar The Last Airbender has the exact same runtime as the animation, but it feels unlikely that they'll be able to cover every single story from the animation. Plus, there are plenty of filler episodes in the animation that in theory they don't necessarily need to cover in the live action remake. So here Netflix just really need to find that right balance, but I'll cover more on what the story is going to be in my next video, so keep a lookout for that and like and subscribe. For now though, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.